Nobody was watching North Korea. Every camera, every satellite, every intelligence analyst on the planet was locked on the Strait of Hormuz. On Iran, on burning tankers, on Trump's deadline, on Pakistan's phone calls. The world had tunnel vision, and Kim Jong-un knew it. Because while the entire global military establishment had its eyes pointed southwest toward the Persian Gulf, something happened in the waters off the Korean peninsula that sent shockwaves through the Pentagon, through Tokyo, through Seoul, and through every naval command from Washington to Beijing. North Korea quietly launched a brand new warship. Not a patrol boat, not a submarine, a first-in-class surface combatant that nobody had seen before. And the moment it hit the water, it didn't wave a flag or fire a flare. It fired anti-ship missiles, live, into the sea. A direct message to every navy in the region that said 3 words louder than any statement from Pyongyang ever could. We are ready. This is the story of what North Korea just launched, why it matters more than anything happening in the Middle East right now, and why the US Navy is already quietly repositioning assets in the Pacific in response, even while publicly saying nothing. To understand why this launch is so significant, you need to understand what North Korea actually fired. And from what? For decades, North Korea's Navy has been a joke in Western military circles. Aging Soviet-era vessels, rust buckets held together by ideology and fear. Ships that couldn't survive a serious engagement with a modern destroyer for more than minutes. Analysts wrote them off. Defense budgets didn't account for them seriously. The focus was always on the missiles. The ICBMs, the nuclear warheads, the things that could reach Los Angeles or Tokyo. But the surface fleet, forgotten. That calculation just changed permanently. What North Korea launched this weekend was a first-in-class destroyer. A vessel class that has never been publicly documented before, never appeared in satellite imagery before its launch, and was built entirely in secret, inside covered shipyard facilities that Western intelligence apparently failed to adequately monitor. The ship is believed to be in the 5,000 to 7,000 ton displacement range, making it comparable in size to a US Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer. Let that sink in for a moment. North Korea, a country the world assumed couldn't feed its own people properly, just launched a warship in the same weight class as the most advanced destroyer in the United States Navy, and the weapons it fired confirmed the threat is real. The missiles launched during the sea trial were anti-ship cruise missiles, the kind designed specifically to sink warships. Modern anti-ship missiles are not simple weapons. They fly low, they maneuver, and they look for the heat signature of an engine or the radar profile of a hull, and they detonate with enough explosive force to put a hole in a ship the size of a bus. North Korea has been developing and testing these missiles for years, but firing them from a brand new surface combatant, from a ship that can project power across the Yellow Sea, the East Sea, and beyond, is an entirely different level of threat. Because a missile fired from land is static. You know where the launcher is. You can target it, destroy it, neutralize it. A missile fired from a warship that can move, that can be repositioned overnight, that can operate hundreds of miles from its home port, is a threat that follows you. And right now, the US 7th Fleet is already stretched dangerously thin. 2 carrier strike groups are tied up in the Middle East supporting Operation Epic Fury. The USS Ronald Reagan, normally home-ported in Japan and serving as the Pacific deterrent, is operating with reduced escort capability. The window North Korea is firing through, both literally and figuratively, could not be more deliberately chosen. This was not an accident of timing. Nothing Kim Jong-un does is an accident of timing. To understand why North Korea chose this exact moment to unveil and test a brand new warship, you need to understand the strategic logic that has governed Pyongyang's behavior for the last 3 decades. North Korea watches weakness. It does not create crises randomly, it exploits them. In 2010, when the world was consumed by the aftermath of the global financial crisis and the US military was exhausted from Iraq and Afghanistan, North Korea sank a South Korean naval vessel, the ROKS Cheonan, killing 46 sailors. In 2017, when the Trump administration was in its chaotic first months and focused entirely on domestic politics, North Korea conducted its most powerful nuclear test ever. And now in 2026, with the United States fighting a war against Iran, with the Strait of Hormuz closed, with oil at $110 a barrel, with American military assets overwhelmingly concentrated in the Middle East and the Atlantic. Kim Jong-un launches a new destroyer and fires anti-ship missiles into the sea. The message is deliberate, calculated, and terrifyingly clear. You cannot fight two wars simultaneously. Choose. But the strategic calculation goes even deeper than opportunistic timing. North Korea has been watching the Iran war with extraordinary interest, specifically watching how Iran's navy, despite being vastly inferior to the United States on paper, has managed to paralyze global shipping using a combination of fast attack boats, mines, drones, and shore-based missiles. Iran proved something that North Korea has been theorizing for years: that you do not need a blue water navy to defeat a superpower at sea. You need enough asymmetric capability to make the cost of engagement unbearable: mines in a choke point, drones targeting tankers, fast boats harassing warships. Iran shut down 21 million barrels of daily oil flow with these tactics. North Korea is watching, North Korea is learning. And North Korea has something Iran never had: a 160,000 square kilometer coastline studded with hardened underground naval bases, submarine tunnels carved directly into mountains, and now, apparently, a surface combatant capable of launching anti-ship missiles that can reach South Korean, Japanese, and potentially US military vessels operating in the region. The Allies are alarmed in a way they are not publicly admitting. Japan's defense ministry held an emergency briefing within 24 hours of the launch. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff convened a special session, and in Washington, the National Security Council quietly added the Korean Peninsula to an already overcrowded agenda. The problem is simple and brutal. The US military is not designed to fight two major wars at the same time. The Goldwater-Nichols framework, the force structure, the carrier deployment cycle, all of it assumes sequential major conflicts, not simultaneous ones. Right now, America is in a shooting war in the Middle East, and in the Pacific, the second most dangerous military flashpoint on the planet just got measurably more dangerous overnight. So what happens now? The immediate military response from the United States and its allies will be measured, deliberate, and largely invisible to the public. There will be no dramatic announcement, no Truth Social post, no Pentagon press conference with maps and arrows. What will happen instead is quiet repositioning. Intelligence assets will be redirected, satellite tasking will be updated. The USS George Washington Carrier Strike Group, currently conducting operations in the Western Pacific, will likely increase its operational tempo near the Korean Peninsula without announcing why. Japan's Maritime Self-Defense Force, already one of the most capable naval forces in Asia, will increase patrols in the waters between the Korean Peninsula and the Japanese home islands. South Korea's navy will go to a higher alert status. And somewhere beneath the surface of the Pacific, at least one US Virginia-class nuclear attack submarine is already tracking the new North Korean vessel, its crew silent, its systems recording everything. But the longer-term consequences of this launch are where the real story lies. Because North Korea did not just launch a ship, it announced a new era of its naval ambitions. The ship is first in class, meaning more are being built. The missiles it fired are proven, meaning they will be integrated into North Korea's operational order of battle. And the timing of the launch proves that Pyongyang has a level of strategic patience and intelligence awareness that Western analysts have consistently underestimated. The world is now facing something it has not faced since the height of the Cold War. Simultaneous, serious, credible military threats in two separate theaters, from adversaries who are watching each other's successes and coordinating their pressure even without a formal alliance. Iran blocks the Strait of Hormuz. North Korea launches a destroyer. Russia's submarines probe UK waters. China watches Taiwan and waits. These are not coincidences. They are a coordinated testing of the limits of American military reach. Probing for the moment when Washington has to admit it cannot be everywhere at once. That moment may be closer than anyone in power is willing to say publicly. The US Navy has 11 aircraft carriers. Right now, 2 are in the Middle East, 1 is in the Pacific near Korea. The rest are in various stages of maintenance, training, and transit. The ocean is big, the threats are multiplying, and the warship that just fired anti-ship missiles off the Korean Peninsula is only going to get more capable, more numerous, and more dangerous with every month that passes. This is the story the mainstream media buried under Hormuz headlines. This is the story that changes the Pacific. And if you want to stay ahead of every major naval development as this crisis deepens across 2 oceans simultaneously, subscribe to this channel right now, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment below.